Hi, my name is Jana McLean. Like most people, I'm deeply concerned about the environment and, of course, how climate change is and will, over the longer term, affect people both at home and abroad. Food security heads the list of my concerns. Many sources agree that over the next 50 years we will need to adapt our food growing methods on land and on sea to feed more than 10 billion people. Certainly is a tall order, but not one that is impossible, not if we move the bulk of our current agricultural activities from the land to the sea. Enter aquaculture, the fastest growing food producing industry in the world. However, no one acting in the interests of the environment and future generations will suggest that we continue or extend the reach of current polluting fish farms. Instead, as suggested by Bren Smith of Green Wave in the United States, there is an immediate need and opportunity to upscale clean green food production via zero input 3D vertical sea farming. Research shows that there are many large-scale players in both the shellfish and seaweed growing markets. However, there are also substantial lease areas across southern Australia lying idle, lacking both capital and labour to farm these already licensed and approved areas. With this need and opportunity in mind, the RISE CoLab Foundation plans to commit resources, energy and raise funds to stage a pilot Seafari event to coincide with the Ceduna February 21 to 24, 2020 Oyster Festival. By partnering with local agricultural companies, we plan to take interested parties out to the mussel, oyster and sea vegetable grow areas to see firsthand how they are grown, harvested and processed, thus showing sea farming as a viable, sustainable 21st century, zero input, positive impact, clean, blue-green, secure food production method, well worthy to invest in. Which is entirely the point of the project, to generate member investment in collaborative large and small-scale sea farming ventures. It might surprise you that in contrast to land farming, which lacks a host of vital minerals, the major one being magnesium, there is no deficiency in the sea. Water and healthy human blood have an almost identical chemical consistency. Mussels, the poor man's oyster, or oysters if you can afford them, are the most potent multivitamin pills available. Every skerrick of the mineral and vitamin as well as protein is available in just the right concentrations for the body to utilise for health, stamina and vitality. According to a myriad of global studies, farming oysters, mussels and seaweed actually has massive positive impacts on the environment, the major benefit being that these grow lines and grow areas provide habitat for a multitude of marine creatures and algae. Besides that, there are no inputs, zero. No feeds, no chemicals, no pesticides and no fresh water used at any time, not even during processing. It's absolutely amazing that producing this scrumptious, high-value, sustainable, positive impact food has huge benefits for land and sea, zero soil erosion and zero mineral loss, zero waterway silting, zero heavy chemical inputs, zero compaction. The aim of the Seafaris is to get people out onto the water, to raise awareness of the environmental and economic value of investing in sustainable, clean, blue-green agriculture. Our hope is that the success of this project will lead to the formation of collaborative sea farming projects across the globe, creating shared prosperity via worker ownership, secure incomes, and enjoyable outdoor healthy lifestyles for the workers. Sun, sea and fresh air, what could be better? Along with the boat tours, we will set up a market stall at the Oyster Festival in Ceduna and also run several interactive workshops to explain the benefits and entry points to share farming the sea. This pilot program will be directed and overseen by the RISE Collaborative Foundation, an Australian-based not-for-profit organisation. The Foundation's central mission is to provide demonstrations of the share economy via collaborative farming. In the longer term, RISE intends to provide similar projects to provide women and children in Southeast Asia and India with choices beyond prostitution and sweatshop labour. The Seafari project will include stakeholders of local, state and interstate Indigenous communities. Over the longer term, the project's success will provide particularly Indigenous youth with relevant career training and secure employment. The input and backing of conservation action groups as well as local community members will also be canvassed in order to propagate collaborative farming. Similarly, overseas student groups will be invited to participate in the Seafaris, thereby ensuring the propagation of collaborative sea farming on a global scale. The main stakeholders of the Seafaris are the aquaculture producers. These will be canvassed to provide sponsorship, public demonstrations and, most importantly, access to the grow zones and process areas. In return, the Seafaris will provide an increase in market share for the established producers, also an increase in skilled workers, and ultimately increased wealth for the region. The Seafaris are a big project. Thank goodness we have a year to plan, organise, gain sponsors, pre-sell tickets and stage the event before we sit back and evaluate the results. As it stands, and this initial part of the planning, it looks like there are 5 major milestones within the project. All up, we have just over 400 days to put the program together. It will entail 5 main phases, starting with the initiation of the project, which will include creating a detailed business case, then moving on to the planning stage. Then if the plan appears to have enough backing, it's on to mobilising and staging the event before wrapping up after the festival to evaluate how well we did and if we want to do it again. Okay, so where's the money going to come from? At this stage, we're planning that the majority of the funding will come from pre-sold tickets to the Seafaris, also part of our membership fees from the RISE Foundations and also from the sponsors. We may also go for some grants and accept donations. We've been conservative with the initial budget because most of the resources will be donated, including staffing the venture from the RISE Foundation. Also, all the marketing will be undertaken that way. But what we have done is added into the budget a part-time coordinator salary that will be needed as the event date becomes closer. We'll need someone on the ground at least 2 months before the event. The assumption for the project includes that we will actually have the available volunteers that we need to stage this event. Also that we can keep within that budget, and that the sufficient amount of the tickets are pre-sold, so we know where we're going, and that the aquaculture industry supplies the tours, the boats and the crew at cost, if not straight out donates them. The major deliverables for the project is, of course, the project plan, list of event stakeholders, the steering committee formed, the event schedule, facilitator found, the marketing and promotional literature and the website put together, the Seafari financials, sponsorship secured, and 70% of the tickets pre-sold 2 months out from the date. So out of scope components will include planning future events, establishing the foundation board, the incorporation of the RISE CoLab Foundation, of course, the Seafari business plan. These will belong elsewhere. They won't be part of this project. The risks of running the Seafaris include a poor return on investment, poor attendee turnout, lack of volunteers, lack of sustained commitment from the foundation itself and the steering committee and members, bad weather, wind, rain and hail. In conclusion, the Seafari project is a critical component to kickstarting RISE CoLab Foundation's integrated share farming projects. However, the members do not expect this pilot project to financially stand on its own 2 feet. Thus, we are seeking public and industry support to rouse interest in collaboratively creating sustainable global food security. We hope we can count on your support to make it happen.